On today's episode, we are going to dive in and to allow yourself to start reinventing yourself at any age. Don't go anywhere.
Do you want to know everything? What your heart won't say, but your soul can sing. From love to loss and the space between, she's got the light to lift the unseen. Hope, healing, and transformation. Do you want to know everything? Do you want to know everything?
Welcome to Hope, Healing, and Transformation. My name's Lisa Williams, and today we are going to start diving in to finding courage to begin again. When even if you have to reinvent yourself, 60, 70 years old, 80 years old, you can reinvent yourself at any age. So I want to start speaking directly to you, the women over 40. Yes. That was a few years ago for me. But those of you who feel like life has somehow kind of passed you by. And I know what it's like when you've got kids, you've got your career, you've got partners, you've got spouses, you've got all sorts. And, maybe you've raised all the kids and you've done all the stuff and you've lived where you wanted to live. And maybe you've lived the marriage and it's walked away. Or maybe none of that has happened and it hasn't gone exactly how you thought. Yep. We've all done that, okay? And now you're here sitting there going, where am I? Is this it? Did I miss my shot? Is this too late to start again? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it is never too late. We're going to dive in to really getting into that place, into that space, and we're going to start reclaiming ourselves and start moving forward. Let's dive in. So let's talk about this. We got to name the fear because we all have fear around it. Let's be honest. Society has led us these lies about aging. I watch these reels and I look at these ads and I look at all of these things about women over a certain age. And I'm like, I do not have to be that. I do not have to look like that. And then all of a sudden that you've got these ads that are coming on about, being in your own style or standing in your own power or finding your own dress or working even down to the makeup. Okay. And I'm like, I like this. But we have to realize that some of us, especially my age, we are still being told what it was like from our parents' perspective, from my mum's perspective. I used to think that being in our 50s was old, and that I couldn't look young, and that I shouldn't wear certain things because that's how I was being told. And I'll be honest, when I was told that I was in my 20s and 30s, it was all like, building your career and building this, and then you're supposed to settle down. Oh my God, what is settling down? Seriously, I think settling down is there's a negative about it. It makes us feel like we've got to settle. We've got to settle for what we don't want to settle. I don't want to settle down. Yes, I might be married and some people might see that as settling down, but that's not settling down in my perspective. My settling down is I don't know. I don't even know what settling down is. Now, I have got friends of mine who are retired and they're like, oh my God, Lisa, take it easy. I'm like, you're retired and I'm not. There's difference there. But anybody, we don't have to settle down. Success doesn't have an expiration date. I know many people who are having incredible careers and are reinventing themselves and honestly, creating companies in their 60s and 70s. Good for you. I've also was told back in the day that reinventing yourself was for Madonna. It was for Madonna when she was in her 30s. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm 50 and I'm in my 50s now and reinventing myself. You can reinvent yourself at any age. telling yourself that you can't reinvent yourself after the age of 60 or even 50 or even 40 is unrealistic. I worked with somebody last week. They're, I want to say 75. And we were working on relationships, things that they wanted in relationships. In fact, I actually do. That seemed to be my theme last week. I was doing it with a couple of people. But we don't have to think that we're over the hill. I mean, that's so old. Because these are myths, right? These are dangerous myths, actually. And what they do is they rob us of our power. It actually tells us that we're giving away our power. We're letting things go, and we need that power space to reinvent ourselves, to rise, to reclaim who we are. Well, by the time that this airs, I would have been in Norway and allowed myself to work with a group of people who are ready to reinvent themselves. I'm telling you, I want to do this. I want to reinvent people, whether it is their careers. This is always something I've been passionate about. Helping people reinvent themselves, helping them find that depth within them, whether it is through grief, whether they have had to go through an illness, whether they need to understand their bodies, whether they need to understand relationships. I want to help women find the courage, the reinvention. I want to create retreats where we're taking these women into this, let's rebuild ourselves. I think this is fan-bloody-tastic. Anybody up for a retreat? Because I'm telling you, I'm ready to create it. I love this stuff. Let's talk about this. There are many, many, many successful women out there. And these successful women didn't start their major success until their midlife. Really didn't. Okay. I'm going to talk about some of the most iconic women, world-changing women. And it is unbelievable. So let's talk about Vera Wang. Vera Wang didn't do her first wedding dress until she was 40. Julia Child published her first cookbook at 49. Toni Morrison won the Nobel Peace Prize at 62. One of my favorite people, Trinny Woodall, who is part of Trinny London, Trinny and Susanna in the UK, didn't start her Trinny London business until her 50s. She's now 60-something, and she is rocking the world. I'm telling you, we are in the prime of our life. And if you think you are too late, well, I'm here to tell you, no, you're not. Because if you are, then I'm too late too. No, it's not happening. I am exactly where I need to be. And my friends, I'm married to a younger man. So there is something about keeping up with him, or actually I'm going to say he has to keep up with me. There you go. All right, so let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this myth-busting facts. We have been told that if we haven't made it when we're young, we're not going to make it. Well, let me talk about this. How many times did we make decisions when we were younger and we have gone, yeah, no, and we're regretting them now? Or we realize, God, if I would have known what I know now, back then, things would have been different. I cannot tell you how many times I've said that. Success does not belong to the young, because honestly, if I look at the young, they're looking to us. Success belongs to those who are determined at any age. Age gives you wisdom, it gives you perspective, it gives you resilience. And that's a competitive edge that no 25-year-old can buy. And I honestly don't care what people say, whether they have been through so much life experience at 25, because trust me, at 25, I had done a shit ton. Let's not talk about that. But at 25, I didn't even know who I was. At 50, I know exactly who I am. And that is this edge that sets me apart. And this reinvention, we're not starting from scratch. I was starting from scratch in my 20s, in my 30s, and sometimes in my 40s. No, we're not starting at zero. When we're starting again, we start with decades of experience, decades of knowledge, decades of wisdom, decades of friendships, decades of experience, decades of mistakes. And honestly, I've got this fly again. And as we're going through this, what we're doing is we're pulling from our experience. Our intuition is going to help us. We're going into this game. Think of it as an NFL football. All right. We're going in with a whole playbook of maneuvers, a whole playbook of structure, a whole idea of where we're going. We know what we need. We know who we are. And there's also this thing that says, people say, well, it's already been done, or everybody else is ahead of me, or blah, blah, blah. This is one of the reasons, my friends, is why I'm doing this podcast on this topic now, because I coach a lot of female entrepreneurs. I coach a lot of people in the spiritual industry. I coach a lot of people out of the spiritual industry. And in this place of coaching them, they think everybody's ahead of them. Well, they're not. When you compare yourself, when you put yourself into this comparison situation, it absolutely is toxic. Your timeline is your own, just like your own body is your own. Your own thoughts are your own. Your timeline is yours. The only ahead or being behind that matters is what is aligned with your soul's next step of where you want to go. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. That was my biggest problem, is I would constantly compare myself to other people. And I started to realize that what that was doing was hindering me. It took me a past life regression to do that. I went through a past life regression. Segue for a moment. Whoop. I went into a past life regression. And I'm in this deep hypnotic state where I couldn't move my body. And I realized that my life this time around was comparison, that I had to learn comparison. I had to learn that I was no longer being compared to somebody else. It was about me. It was about everything that I needed to be. Not about comparing myself to anyone else, because that made me feel worthless. When I started to look at it, and we all act and react from our childhood wounds. And my childhood wound is, I'm not good enough, comparing myself to this. Oh, you'll never be good, whatever. Okay. We've all heard it. And the one thing that sticks in my mind was when I was deaf. I was completely deaf as a child. Okay. And as I was completely deaf as a child, I must have had some hearing at some point, because I used to lip read. And my mum realized I was lip reading, but she also realized I was deaf. So I had to have an operation. Anyway, all is well. I can hear. Fantastic. Now, in that point, I do remember, and my mum can't remember it. No one else can remember it. But I remember going to my first school, my preschool, or my kindergarten, whatever you call it, was back in one area, and I was about 4 years old. But when I got my hearing back at the age of 5, I was then going on to a new school back in Redditch. And I remember sitting there having a conversation and going in, and my mum sitting with whoever it was. We were having this conversation, and my mum actually explained that I had been deaf. And they told me that they were going to hold me back because I should not learn to read or write until I was 7 years old. Now, irrespective of whether or not that story or that conversation that I heard, that I believe I heard, is real or not, it has stayed in my mind. I've created a story around it. I'm just sharing you how stories create. Whether or not was real, but my brain believed it to be true. And so all I was hearing, and this was the language, and I'm sorry if I upset anybody, but this was the language that I was told, because it was this deaf and dumb. And that was what I was branded with. I was branded with that you were deaf and dumb. And that was the language. So I kept believing that I was dumb, that I could not read or write. I was not going to amount to much. And that, any form of academic I would struggle with. So guess what I've done is I have struggled for so long with academia. And suddenly I literally went, screw you. I'm actually going to take on this. And this is a fascinating thing. I do not have a degree. I'm not ashamed to say I do not have a degree. I started a degree, I walked away because I realized I didn't want to teach kids. But at the point that I went, screw you, is I decided I was going to start doing my master's in neuroscience. We don't just take something on little. Lisa Williams decided she's going to take something big on. I had to write a paper to be accepted into doing a master's degree course because I didn't have a formal degree. And they took me on based upon the paper. So that told me that absolutely scrapped that story that I could not do it. That scrapped it in that moment. Done. I still don't have the degree. Put it on hold, but that's okay because, my career and everything else. But what it did is it proved to me that I could do it. And I did so much of it and I had to put it on hold. This is why I love my neuroscience. It's the reason why I get so passionate about reinventing yourself. So I'm just going to share with you. That was just my own story. I've worked with many women who have left 30-year marriages. 30-year marriages. And then they have said, screw you. I am going to take what I've taken from my marriage, this block of money, and I'm going to put it into my business. And I'll tell you, I remember her taking that block of money and I was like, I don't think you should. But because I'm thinking in my own mind, I'm thinking, let's put some investments. She's like, no, I need to take this amount of money. She set herself up what she needed, took a big chunk of money and threw it into her business. Now it's a multi-million-dollar company. She allowed herself. She pushed and she went through and I coached her with it. She wrote a book. She's built a business and now she is she is living financially free, emotionally free. And I just found out she just found the relationship of her dreams. She reinvented herself in her late 50s. So proud of her. I've seen women who thought they were too old to date. Too old to fall in love, or that they shouldn't because that first relationship and their husband passed away, it needed to be the relationship of their dreams. And I'm going to tell you, we have worked on it. We have understood, okay, and this is the part I love, is we have actually gone through their relationships of everything that they want. We have worked out their non-negotiables. We have worked everything out and we've created a plan. And guess what? Every one of those people have had a relationship. You are able to do it. I never forget meeting this couple. Oh my God, adorable couple. And I was on my honeymoon at the time. And I said, oh my God, you two are so cute. And they said, yeah, we're on our honeymoon. I said, how old are you? And they went 83 and 85. And I went, God bless you. They were as loved up and holding hands as anything. They had both lost their spouses. Love is available to you no matter how old you are. And I personally have lived through it, pivoting my careers, launching brand new products, stepping into this whole new identity. Listen, I used to have short, spiky hair with a big blonde patch on the top of it. Now I'm just who I am. I have reinvented myself so many times when I was told your career is not going to amount to much. I'm going to tell you I am thriving right now. I have the best business relationships. And of course, I have Ray, who produces my show. And I'm not going to stop and settle for anything less. These stories are all here because they need to remind you that they can do it and you can do it. You're entitled to it. You're allowed to do it. You're worthy of doing it. It doesn't stop here. So let's start getting the tools that you need. All right, let's get this moment where we have to get practical, because reinvention isn't just this mindset that we have to have. There's an action place that we have to do it. Okay. So first of all, I want you to get clear that you want to do it. And there's a couple of things that I like to say, and I'm just going to go from my own coaching experience that I've done and coaching these people through it. Is first of all, set yourself an intention. So if this is a point in the podcast that you actually want to do it, I'm going to say go and get yourself a pen and paper, place this on pause and come back to it. Right, get your pen and paper and let's start right now, because I'm going to give you the tools that you need. So first of all, let's set the intention. I want you to set the intention. I want you to breathe. I want you to just take a couple of moments just breathing. And I don't want you to be distracted. I want you to have clear space. Probably just need, a couple of minutes doing this. And just set your intention. What is it that you want? You can write what you don't want. You can write everything there. If you write what you don't want, we're going to have to rework that to what it is that you do want, because you're going to have to then release that, because we're trying to tell the universe, we're trying to tell the energy in the world what it is that you are attracting. So we don't want anything negative. So what is it that you want? So maybe the intention is that you want to feel worthy. Maybe the intention is that you are here to embrace love into your life. Maybe the intention is to find the career of your dreams. Maybe the intention is to set yourself up financially. What is this? What do you feel the instant urge? What do you feel you're racing towards? What do you feel in this moment that you are racing towards? And then return it round. I am worthy of. I am worthy of financial success. I am worthy of finding love. I am worthy of living my best life. I am worthy of. What is it that you are worthy of? And write that down. Now, the next one, I love this story. I love this exercise. I do it with a lot of people. On a separate piece of paper, I want you to start writing your story. I want you to write down the story that you have been telling yourself. Whether it is that you're not good enough, that you're too old, that your mom is this, that your dad is this, that you are blah, blah, whatever it is. Write down the story that you have been telling yourself. And I don't want you to see yourself as a victim here, right? Because as you start writing it, you'll be like, I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be the victim. I don't care. Be the victim, all right? Because we're going to change this right now. So if this is a time that you want to pause this or you want to bookmark it for later, fine. But write down the story that you have been telling yourself about whether you're too old, too late, not enough time, not good enough, whatever it is. Okay? Now we're going to rewrite it. You're actually going to look at this story and you're going to cross out. When I say lies, I mean it's all truthful. We're going to cross out, these are lies that you say that I'm too old or too ugly or too this or I'm too that or I'm whatever, okay? You're going to replace them with some truths. So that story could be, I am too old to find a new love because I am not healthy enough or I'm not fit enough or I don't look the part, okay? And now you're going to cross out the lies and you're going to replace them with these truths like, I am seasoned, I am powerful, I am ready, I am strong, I have experience, I am young, I have knowledge, whatever it is. You're going to rewrite your story in the most positive way with positive spaces. Now, here's the thing. This is where I love ChatGPT. You can go in with ChatGPT and you can actually say, help me rewrite my story. You need to do it. Put it into chat if you need some help. Ask it to rewrite your story. And then you rewrite it on with a piece of paper and a pen, rewrite it. Because when you are rewriting it, what you're actually doing is you're letting yourself have the story. You're putting it onto piece of paper and you're writing it down and you're sending it out. Those thoughts, that subconscious mind, that energy is attracting it into the universe. So write that story. Pause now if you need a little bit of time, or you just want to do this in real time. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to audit the desires. Okay, so ask yourself, what do I actually want right now? Right this moment, at the age that you are. I'm 52. What do I actually want right now? Not what I was 25, not when I was 35, not when I was 16 or 26 or 46, but what that I want now. Not what I should have done, not what I could have done, but what lights me and brings me joy in this moment. We are not here to look at the past. We're here to look at the present. Okay? So now, once you've done that, what do I want right now? Pause this and come back to it if you need to. I'm going to move on. We now start small. We don't have to look at it as a big thing, okay? We start small. If, let's say, for instance, you want to write that book, okay, which is a big task. Trust me, I know. I've written several books. You start by writing a page today, a paragraph, a line, do some research. If you want to build a business, get the domain name. I don't know, write a business plan, put some ideas down on paper. Start small. Momentum builds this confidence. Start getting the information slowly. We don't have to write a book that's A to B to C to D that goes on. Start writing a story here and a story there. What is it that you're inspired to write? And then build it together. And that's the beauty of editors. So start writing. What is it that you want? Look back on here. What do I want right now? And now start, what can I do within the first 24 hours? What can I do to actually make that happen? And start it. There's no excuse. Pop it in the comments, pop it in the chat, pop it in all of this. I want to hear what you're doing today towards this. And so here's the thing. We can't do this alone, my friends. So the reason why I said pop it in the chat, pop it in the comments, because you need to surround yourself with like-minded people, with these people who have got these minds of expansion. Be around other people who are doing things that they dreamt of. They are reinventing themselves at 50, at 60, at 70. You know who they are. Join a support group. Go onto Facebook. Join these groups. Surround yourself with people because they're living the life and they are going to inspire you. That is key. And when they're inspiring you, they're driving you, they're pushing you, they're helping you. Surround yourself with these people. Be encouraged by them because I'm telling you, when they have done it, they are going to be pushing you to do it. I've done it. That's why I'm pushing you, my friends. It's why I am pushing you to do it. And lastly, at this stage of life, you have to strengthen your intuition. Your intuition is going to be your inner knowing, your inner compass, your inner guidance, your lighthouse, your North Star, whatever you want to call it. It is going to be it. It will show you what is aligned faster than any 10-step strategy plan, faster than any business plan. Sitting in the quiet. Maybe you want to take yourself off for a spa weekend and relax. Take yourself off and just be with yourself in nature. Go and camp somewhere. Go and have a spa weekend. Go and have a massage if you can't have a spa weekend. Go and even just sit in your car and get away from the kids if you need to. What is it that you need? I have many women that come to me on a monthly basis. And this is something I love because they're in this point in their life. They are reinventing themselves and they're listening to their intuition, but they just need guidance to know that they are on the track. And I have monthly check-ins. I probably do this with about, I don't know, probably 10 to 15 women. They have monthly check-ins and they want to know that they're on the right pathway. It's great. I love it because what we're doing together is I'm helping them become the best version of themselves, and they are becoming who they want to be, and they are starting to trust their own intuition. So start doing it. Now, I want you to start realizing that this reinvention takes courage. All right. You can probably have your mum in your head. Oh, well, you shouldn't do that. Whatever it is. Courage to walk away from what no longer fits isn't easy. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to let go of other people and what they think. It takes a lot of courage to say, this is my life and I refuse to shrink anymore. This is my life and I deserve to be heard. This is my life and I deserve to be seen. These comfort zones that we're in make us feel safe and they keep you small. These courage zones, what we step into, it can feel bloody scary. I'm going to tell you, it can feel absolutely bloody scary. But this is where growth and freedom live. This is where we are allowing ourselves to step in and saying, I can do this. And here's the thing. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to move forward, even if you are in fear. Even if you are pooping your pants in doing it. Stepping in, because you never know. You absolutely never know where it's going to take you. Let's talk spirituality for a minute. Midlife crisis. Oh, we hear a lot about it, about men in their midlife crisis. But when we're 50, we have this thing called the Saturn return. I'm sure it's the Saturn return. Is it the Saturn return or I don't know. It's whatever it is. Chiron return. All your astrologers out there are all shouting, Chiron return. All right. But we're having this Chiron return. And it's the wounded healer. Chiron is the wounded healer. And when we're in this, this period of time, it gives us this awareness of you have to do this. Your life is going to no longer look the same. You're in this point. And those of you who have just turned 50 or are turning 50 or have turned 50, when you start looking about where you kind of hit that moment of, oh, what am I doing? All right, because this isn't midlife. It's midlife crisis. It's a calling. You're being called. Every transition that you are going through right now is an initiation. It's the universe that is saying, hey, you've graduated. Here you are. You've graduated from chapter 1, chapter 2, and now it's time to level up. This reinvention isn't a punishment. It's an invitation for you to really, truly live into your worth, really, truly to be who you want to be. It's your invitation to trust more deeply. It's your invitation to start listening to your soul. It's your invitation to live in alignment, not obligation. Ladies, we sometimes live in this space where we feel obliged to do this. I do it all the time. I feel obliged. No, I have to sit. Is it in alignment for me? And I truly allow myself, is this the right thing that I should do? Because when we're answering the call, you don't just change your life, you ripple the change into your family, your community, the generations after you. You've heard that famous line, you heal 7 generations back and 7 generations ahead. You're teaching other people, even if you haven't got kids. There's still the ripple effect. You still have people that are learning from you daily. So here's my final words to you guys. If you are listening and thinking, it's too late for me, blah, 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 it's not. It really is not. Your dreams have not expired. Your worth is not diminished. Your story is absolutely not finished. If you are listening to this and you are able to do it, you can turn everything around. All it is the wiring in your mind, the wiring in your brain. The courage begins because it's already inside of you. The moment you take your first step is the moment that you realize that life and time has not passed you by. It's been preparing you for this moment. This is your season. This is your moment. It's never too late to reinvent yourself. You're right on time. You're right exactly where you need to be. And I love it for you. So congratulations for hearing the call and trusting. Pop your comments below. I can't wait to hear what you've been talking about and what you want to do and how you want to move forward. You're always going to find a way. And I want you to start thinking about opening your mindset instead of saying, I can't do it because. Just say, what might be the ways that I can? How might I do this? Your mind automatically starts expanding and you start thinking big. My name's Lisa Williams. You've been listening to Hope, Healing and Transformation. And I will see you all again next time.
Do you feel a whisper in the back of your mind, like the truth is waiting, but it's hard to find? Well, maybe there's magic in the words she brings. Close your eyes and listen in. Do you want to know everything? What your heart won't say, but your soul can sing. From love to loss and the space between, she's got the light to lift the unseen. Hope, healing and transformation. Do you want to know everything? Do you want to know everything?
Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, the information shared on this podcast is meant to inspire and support you, but it's not a replacement for personalized advice from a qualified professional. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to tune in next time. Until then, take care and keep believing in something better.